Have you ever stopped and asked yourself how much energy you expend retelling the painful chapters of your life, those stale failures, as if they were an unchangeable destiny? Every time you repeat the same story, you plant a seed deep in your own mind, programming your thoughts and emotions until you become bound by them. Words are not mere sounds that echo and fade. They are the lanterns illuminating your path. When you let them pour out uncontrolled, you surrender your sovereignty over your own life. And if you remain trapped in the book you wrote, but never pick up the pen to revise it, can fate ever turn to a new page? In this video, I'm not here to offer empty complaints, but to challenge you to silence the words that weaken you, to seize firm control of your speech, and in doing so, take charge of your life. Together, we will explore 13 powerful Stoic lessons like a compass guiding you out of the maze of self-pity. Are you ready to take each step? Embrace the power of delaying speech and cultivate your inner strength. Leave a comment saying, "I accept the challenge." And watch through to the end because missing even one lesson means passing up the chance to master your mind and your life. Discipline in your words reflects inner discipline. 1. Discipline in your words reflects inner discipline. First, pause and listen to every sound in the words you speak. For each word you choose is a paving stone on the road to your inner world. To master your speech means you hold the supreme commander's reins over your emotions and your will, where the scattered stones of worry and doubt are swept away, replaced by the solid brick of determination and self-control. Have you ever asked yourself, if my words are a double-edged sword, who suffers the most? The answer is you, and when you remain silent long enough to reflect, you plant the seed of a self-governing habit that the Stoics call prohairesis, the capacity to choose not to react unconsciously, but to respond with intention. Moreover, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius's words remind us that true power springs from within and speech is the wand that channels it. You embrace this truth. You'll realize that every time you stop complaining, you water the garden of your soul with silent wisdom. Instead of letting emotions sweep away reason like a raging tide, you become the true master, carefully selecting each phrase to cultivate inner peace. Next, whenever you read aloud what you intend to say, you'll notice your thoughts rehearsing before they erupt. You are not a victim of your words, but a craftsman shaping each syllable. You nourish your will by speaking less, but speaking enough. Not total silence, but silence that fosters growth. This contrast highlights the power of self-governance. Rather than letting your words pour out, like aimless rainwater, you channel them like a steady and patient. Finally, challenge yourself. Each morning when you awaken, before a single sound escapes your lips, ask yourself, will these words bring me freedom? If the answer is yes, then speak. If you choose silence, you are still exercising your power of self-control. With consistent practice, mastering your speech will become an unshakable habit, carving itself into your will like an engraving on wood and laying a rock-solid foundation for every decision you make. You will not merely speak, you will forge a stronger version of yourself. 2. Silence to deal with stress, and silence to deal with stress and anxiety. Anxiety. Imagine you're sitting at your computer when a tense email lands in your inbox. Instead of rushing to type an immediate reply, you pause, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. In just 5 seconds of silence, you feel your breath steady, your heart rate slow, and your thoughts sharpen. When you open your eyes, you craft your response with clear thinking, avoiding mistakes and preventing unnecessary conflict. First, embrace silence to quiet the inner noise. Silence isn't giving up. It's respecting the space between thoughts. It's the moment you let your mind settle so intense emotions can fade instead of spiraling into anxiety. When you still those inner echoes, you make room for both intuition and reason to work together. The noise lifts, your energy returns, and you take charge of every choice. Next, ongoing silence restores your spirit. Just as the earth needs stillness to receive rain and bloom, your mind needs quiet to welcome fresh ideas and renew its strength. The Stoics of old reminded us circumstances don't confuse us. Only our own judgments do. By choosing silence, you steer your judgments instead of letting your feelings take control. Moreover, a single moment of calm gives you the space to weigh your options and make thoughtful decisions. Would you rather fire off a hasty reply that strains a relationship or gift yourself a few seconds to reflect and truly understand? Silence is not weakness. It is inner strength. The power of someone who controls both words and thoughts. Finally, start this practice today. Whenever tension rises, let silence step in before you speak. Not to hide your emotions, but to stop words that might wound and to build your self-control. In doing so, you sketch your life with firm lines, simple yet commanding. Silence doesn't just help you manage stress and anxiety, it hands you the key to true inner peace. Don't share your hidden fears. 3. Don't share your hidden fears. Fear. We all experience it. Anyone can quickly rattle off their fears. Fear of heights, fear of spiders, fear of flying. But have you ever stopped to wonder that the very moment you rush to confess your deepest fears, you may be unwittingly widening the cracks in your soul? When you say, "I'm afraid of losing my job," those words are like a broken brick hurled at your protective wall, shattering the fragile shell that temporarily hides your insecurity. In Stoicism, silence is not merely the avoidance of speech. It is the opportunity to confront, to understand the fear that lies deepest within, and to decipher it yourself. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. Seneca, this reminder tells you that if you keep worrying about the unknown before you, you will never dare to live fully. Let your fear speak in the silence of your mind. Analyze it, assess it, and only when you have a solid plan, allow yourself to share it with those who can help. Imagine fear as a seed. If you water it with complaints, it will quickly grow into thorny vines that cling relentlessly to your thoughts. Instead of blurting it out impulsively, quietly craft a plan for the future. Luke's story is proof. Rather than lamenting, "I'm afraid of losing my job," he silently built a detailed plan, reviewed his skills, worked, and researched the market. Only after he held a viable solution in hand did Luke present his idea. This approach didn't just keep him in control, it transformed his fear into fuel for self-improvement. Do you dare to embrace silence? Do you dare to face your fears without leaning on words? When you stay silent, you grant yourself the power to steer the narrative of your life, to refine your train of thought before unveiling it to the world. Don't let fear overflow from your lips. Let it resonate in your heart so you can hear it, understand it, and ultimately master it. And now, having grasped the power of silence and fear, prepare yourself for what comes next. Will you dare to explore why boasting about your goals robs you of the drive to act? Stay tuned to uncover the answer to one of the most subtle traps our minds set for us. The immediate reward of showing off your goals reduces motivation to execute. 4. The immediate reward of showing off your goals reduces motivation to execute. Recognize one thing. When you broadcast your goal and immediately soak up praise, you're giving your brain a fake dopamine hit that convinces it the work is already done. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter of satisfaction, is meant to keep our passion alive. But when it comes from premature applause, it acts like a local anesthetic, numbing the real urge to take action. Have you noticed how after a downpour of compliments, your drive disappears like morning dew under the rising sun? Yet, if you pause to reflect, you will see the false nature of that reward. It's not your real progress that releases dopamine, but other people's words. The result, you end up counting compliments instead of counting every step taken toward your goal. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Marcus Aurelius. This maxim reminds you to set your own vision quietly, then work in silence to turn it into reality rather than flaunting your vision and waiting for applause. Look at a real-world example. Many vloggers excitedly announce they're writing a book, receive countless words of encouragement, but when they sit down to write, their manuscript never progresses. They get stuck in the comfort zone of praise. Those flattering words become an invisible shackle holding them back from the long days of dedicated work. Compliments didn't make them better writers. Rather, the praise stole their action time. How do you break this habit? Stop broadcasting your goals and chase the thrill of the work itself. Remind yourself that the first sign of progress isn't applause, but ink on your fingers and words on the page. Whenever you feel overdosed on praise dopamine, ask yourself, have I added even one new sentence today? And then when you shut out the applause and focus on doing the work, true knowledge and skill begin to sprout. It's not by parading your dreams, but by nurturing them with small daily actions. Sow seeds of action, not empty words. That's when real results will bear fruit, not in the sound of applause, but in your own quiet pride. Be selective with whom you share your plans. 5. Be selective with whom you share your plans. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, who are you sharing your sensitive plans with? Do you really need advice from anyone who rushes into your life? Or do you just need to open the door to positive echoes that amplify your vision? Article number 5. Be selective with whom you share your plans is not merely a warning, but a guiding principle to safeguard your inner strength and belief in your journey. When we tell others about our ambitions, we do more than convey information. We hand over a piece of our soul, a seed of hope. But if the listener harbors the seed of blind wind, that is doubt and criticism, the soil meant to nurture your dreams will quickly turn barren. That is why Epictetus taught, associate with people who are likely to improve you. His words set a standard and underscore the importance of choosing the right companions. Friendship is not just sharing joy, it is sharing spiritual strength. Imagine yourself standing in a vast field, a bag of seeds in your hand. Would you scatter them everywhere, whether the soil is fertile or not? Or would you choose only the richest patches of earth where those seeds can sprout vigorously? Building your dreams works the same way. Do not entrust your plans to those who sow doubt. Instead, share them only with people ready to water hope. Nurture your passion and cultivate the future by your side. If you hesitate, ask yourself, do negative opinions unintentionally shake your resolve, or are they merely tests that make you more steadfast? Every criticism lacking good intent pulls your focus toward mistakes and makes you forget your hidden potential. Conversely, every word of encouragement from the right person opens a new door and guides you past your old limits. The selectivity of your communication determines whether you preserve your faith or let it dissolve in gusts of criticism. So, are you ready to raise your bright banner in the embrace of true supporters? Be mindful when you open your heart. So, you hand the key to your power only to those who deserve it. And now I want to hear from you. In the comments, write, I choose to share with, to affirm that you have found a safe place for your dreams. 6. Silence is a powerful tool. Not silence is a powerful tool, not resignation. Resignation. Silence is not a sign of surrender. It is a powerful instrument honed by inner resolve. Notice this. The person who knows when to be silent radiates a calm that makes others listen rather than simply ignore. When you stop speaking, unnecessary thoughts slip into the background, making room for confidence and command to rise. Have you ever realized that every word you utter, whether deliberate or unconscious, paints a portrait of yourself in the minds of others? So why not use silence to craft a stronger image? Imagine walking into a negotiation room. The pressure is immense. Your counterpart sets sky-high demands, and in that moment, you remain silent. That extended quiet is not because you lack a response, but because you are reading the other side's psychology. Jack, a veteran negotiator, put this tactic into practice. After his counterpart delivered an initial offer beyond all expectations, Instead of rebutting or rushing to agree, Jack held his tongue. In the stillness, his counterpart became aware that they might lower the figure to elicit a reaction, and in the end, Jack secured a better deal. This was not a concession. It was the triumph of stillness. When you embrace silence, you give yourself permission to listen more deeply to your own emotions and to the unspoken needs of others. That silence is like a seed. In the hush, it germinates into determination and clarity so that when you finally speak, each word becomes a bullet aimed squarely at your goal. If you allow words to spill out unchecked, you risk getting lost in a maze of excuses and complaints, inadvertently feeding the limitations in your own mind. But when you dare to be silent, you take hold of the reins of attention and reveal an inner strength that superfluous chatter could never convey. Try this experiment. When you face a challenge, let a moment of silence speak on your behalf, and notice how fresh energy flows through your entire being. In the end, silence is your most loyal companion on the journey to mastering yourself and charting your destiny. Rewrite your story and change your reality. 7. Rewrite your story and change your reality. Rewrite your story and you rewrite the map of your existence. Stop repeating "I can't" like a broken record that only deepens the grooves of doubt in your mind. Instead, declare "I am growing" with the firm conviction of a warrior forging new neural highways through positive self-talk. Every phrase you utter to yourself plants a seed. Will you water weeds of limitation, or will you nurture the sapling of possibility? As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So change your internal narrative and watch your reality bend in response. Consider how your own words have shaped your past. Each "I'm not ready," each "this is too hard" has formed a familiar path in your brain, one you traverse mindlessly at every hesitation. Now imagine rooting those thoughts. "I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm building strength," like clearing a tangled forest, to reveal a sunlit clearing. You open a new space for courage and action. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience in motion. When you consciously redirect your language, you break old patterns and create fresh ones that guide you toward growth. Moreover, real transformation waits at the intersection of intention and practice. In one coaching program that wove daily positive affirmations into each client's routine, participants accelerated their personal goal completion by 40%. They shifted from self-defeating scripts, "I'll never finish," to empowering mantras, "I complete what I begin," through this simple yet profound swap. They harnessed the power of consistent, constructive language to propel themselves forward, like a ship catching favorable winds after weeks of motoring against the tide. Therefore, don't let a worn-out story dictate who you can become. Command your words as a general marshal's, an army with clarity, purpose, and unwavering authority. Silence the inner critic that clings to past failures and proclaim the narrative that will carry you toward triumph. Remember the Stoic counsel of Seneca. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So choose to imagine strength, resilience, and progress, and live into that story. Before we dive into the next lesson on why good listening is a powerful form of presence, I'd like to ask you one small favor. If you're enjoying what you've learned and you're smiling right now, hit that like button. And hey, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Why? Because when you like and subscribe, you're telling YouTube this content is amazing, and that helps spread these positive energies to others who might need a lift just like you did. So, let's share the joy and make sure more people can join this journey of self-improvement and positivity with us. Good listening is a powerful form of presence. 8. Good listening is a powerful form of presence. Active listening is a form of powerful presence. It becomes a potent tool of value in our professional work, our relationships, and our personal lives. Listen, as if every word a drop of nourishing water for the garden of your soul. Because only in silence and full attention can you truly grasp the unspoken needs behind the sound. Have you ever noticed that those who know how to be silent and attentive forge deep connections and persuade even without speaking much? After all, it is that silent energy. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak, from Epictetus, that reminds us of the latent power in listening. First, stop counting how many words you need to say to please your listener, and instead focus on noticing each breath, every bit of body language, and each pause between words. Every time you truly pay attention, you sow seeds of trust. Every time you thwart your instinct to remain silent, you inadvertently water the weeds of misunderstanding and doubt. You do not need flowery language or convoluted arguments, but rather to put aside the thought, "I must speak," and replace it with the habit, "I will listen." Next, you will discover that at work, when colleagues feel fully heard, they open up to share ideas and unite around taking responsibility. And in personal relationships, when the other person knows you are willing to be silent in order to understand them, barriers of bias dissolve and trust is built. This is not a magic spell, but the result of inner discipline. When you master your words, you also master how you are understood and how you understand the world. Finally, ask yourself, am I talking too much to prove myself, or am I silent enough to listen and empathize? When you refuse to fill the space with empty theory, you give yourself the power to nurture the seed of connection and understanding. So please remain silent when needed and speak words of weight when you have listened enough. 9. Don't tell and retell what's going. Don't tell and retell what's going on in your life. Imagine you are standing on an empty stage, the lights carving deep lines into your face, and you are the only one telling the same old story over and over. Each word you speak is like a brick that fences you in, building a wall that separates you from your own freedom. Have you ever noticed that by repeating the same sad fragments, "I failed at my last company. I am always abandoned"? You are stuffing your ego with pieces that can never heal. Every time you recount them, you are not only sharing your past with others, you are also engraving it deeper into your mind, turning your pain into an unchangeable destiny. However, if you stop retelling that story, you open up a space still fragrant with hope. Instead of watering the weeds of failure in your soul, you sow the seeds of possibility. Let this reminder guide you step by step to let go. Do you dare to fall silent before those old echoes, allowing your spirit to heal instead of being bound by the voice of self-doubt? Speaking on and on means planting seeds in the comfort zone of pessimism. You are merely feeding your fear, not releasing it. When you choose silence, you keep your mind untainted by anxiety and sorrow so that it can spark the flame of creativity and invite new solutions. You will find yourself asking, am I using words to heal or to punish myself? The answer lives in the quiet space between words, and when you finally stop replaying that story, you give yourself permission to write a new chapter, one of action and responsibility. Instead of saying, "I can't," use a silence to listen for the chance to transform. Let every moment of silence be a step on the ladder that lifts you higher and carries you beyond the shadows of the past. Your words teach others how to treat you. 10. Your words teach others how to treat you. Everything we do in life comes with its reward. You go to work to earn money. You go swimming because you enjoy it or because it keeps you healthy. The same holds true for relationships between people. No one acts without caring about the outcome. For example, you might have a colleague who always takes credit for your ideas or tries every trick to undermine you. Or perhaps someone is constantly rude to you or treats you with contempt. Stop the habit of endlessly repeating your flaws and complaining without end. That tone of insecurity and continuous grumbling plants in others the image of someone weak, easily distracted, and unreliable. Do you realize that each time you voice a complaint, you are sowing a seed of blame in your listener's mind, and they reap it with neglect and disdain? Don't let your words become the weeds that choke trust and strangle your personal power. Stay silent in the face of words you know you will regret, and instead speak with intention and force. Let every sentence you utter become a declaration of your ability and worth. Let each word you speak make others pause, listen, and respect you. Every time you choose silence over whining, you affirm that you stand your ground and refuse to be the weaker party in any conversation. Do you dare to challenge yourself to change your communication style starting today? Will you stop giving others the opportunity to look down on you with meaningless complaints? Choose your words as you would choose a weapon, sharp, weighty, and always forward-focused. Transform each sentence into a springboard for your ideals and actions, not a barrier to your own progress. So don't hesitate. Share in the comments below. I accept the change. If you are ready to turn your words into an unbreakable shield that defends your value, I want to hear the story that marks the beginning of your new journey. 11th, don't share details too early about how you're improving. Don't rush to broadcast your silent strides. Don't let your words ensnare you in a whirlpool of judgment and criticism before your actions have had a chance to affirm their value. When you lay bare every detail of how you're tweaking each objective, each plan, you hand others the authority to assess, to condemn, and to sap your own drive. Picture yourself nurturing a tiny seed of hope. If you tear apart the fresh soil to show it off to the world before its roots have had time to grip, the slightest gust of gossip will knock that seedling over. Thus, silence is the first magic trick of the Stoic. Silence is not a sign of weakness, but a shield. That keeps your goal intact. Think of it this way. Haven't you seen the world's idea giant, steadfast spirits like J.K. Rowling keep the first Harry Potter manuscript under wraps for months, waiting until the story was strong enough before revealing it? If she'd bragged before winning a place in reader hearts, would any publisher have risked backing her, or would the early doubts have drowned her out? That very delay in sharing created the space for inner strength to build, for relentless will to ripen. Moreover, you'll realize that silence grants you freedom to refine your plan, freedom to correct mistakes, freedom to focus inward instead of fixating on outside eyes. Don't reveal details too soon, because what you say isn't just a fleeting sound. It's a current that shapes thought and action. It's not about hiding progress, but protecting it until it's ripe enough to withstand both praise and critique. Because criticism can only shake you when your foundation isn't yet solid. And when you've perfected your first step, when the groundwork is firm, share your achievement with the world, not to seek approval, but to spark inspiration in those still lost in silence. Keep your process secret like an intact crystal vase. Only once you hold it steady can you raise it high and embrace both glory and challenge. In that quiet interval, your inner power grows like a sap-filled tree stretching out of darkness to seize the light. Then, when the day comes to unveil your success story, the whole world will fall silent to listen. 12th, let your results speak for. Let your results speak for themselves rather than your words. Themselves rather than your words. Let your results speak more powerfully than any explanation. Don't let flowery words cage you within your own limits. When you act in silence, you sow the seeds of change with no one seeing your hand touch the soil. The harvest sprouts and grows, quietly, until it ripens and bursts forth, convincing everyone by its own weight. Have you ever witnessed a flickering flame illuminating the night without anyone promoting its source? The result is the flame itself, and words are just a tiny match bright, for a moment, then gone. When you pour all your energy into action, every step forward reveals the true value of your intent. Have you ever been swayed by empty promises? Recall the last time someone expected a project to take off on words alone, only to be disappointed when nothing moved beyond those promises. By contrast, when you don't praise yourself, but let soaring sales figures, satisfied customers, admiring colleagues, and your own sense of real progress speak, that is irrefutable proof. It's not how much you talk that matters, but how much you do that delivers value. When you stay silent and let results make the noise, You cultivate a safe zone of humility where genuine ability isn't drowned out by external clamor. Imagine each of your steps as drops falling on a calm lake. Each drop sends ripples spreading outward rather than a loud voice that barely reaches the ear. Those ripples are the energy radiating from your achievements. So act today. Remain silent in the face of empty complaints. Fuel your efforts with concrete actions and let your results leave a mark. When your work is done, don't rush to explain. Let your achievements speak for you. And when you're ready to explore the next step, where you'll learn to rewrite the flow of your life as you choose, turning the past from a burden into a solid foundation for the future. Rewrite your story. 13. Rewrite your story. A recent study found that people who start their day with positive affirmations, such as "I am capable" or "I am making progress," improve their mood and work performance by up to 30% after just 1 month of practice. A figure substantial enough to give you pause and reflect. Thus, the story you tell yourself each morning is not merely a whisper in your mind, but a flame that ignites action throughout your day. Stop repeating, "I am a failure," like an old pre-written record etched into your heart. Replace it with, "I am learning," as a bold commitment to your future. Inner language is the invisible hand that shapes your destiny. When you say, "I am a failure," you water the seeds that erode your confidence. But when you declare, "I am learning," you sow the seeds of opportunity and fierce belief. This is more than a change of words. It is a change of life. Ask yourself what happens when you face mistakes not with lamentation, but with curious engagement. What happens when your mind stops closing itself off in defeat and opens up to receive the lesson? It's not what happens to us that hurts us, but how we think about what happens. Epictetus' words have echoed for 2,000 years, reminding you that true power lies in the choice of your words. Every time you say, "I am learning," every time you view a mistake as a seed of growth, you shatter the chains of self-doubt and step into a new land of potential. Don't hesitate. Seize the powerful pen, erase the dark pages, and rewrite your story with every line that grants you strength. Rewrite your story. Rewrite your destiny. Rewrite your life. We've journeyed together through 15 Stoic lessons to conclusion. Uncover both the power and the boundaries of our words. From observing the narratives we tell ourselves and spotting the phrases that wound us to mastering the art of timely silence and choosing speech that builds up rather than tears down. You've learned to release the habit of spreading complaints and to transform every word you speak into fuel for unwavering inner strength. Now I want to hear your voice. Which lesson resonated with you most? And which principle will you start applying to your daily life right away? Leave your most honest thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap on the suggested videos at the end of the screen to continue your journey into Stoic philosophy, to nurture your inner strength, and to live each day with true self-mastery. See you in the next video.